A man serving life in prison for an underground online marketplace will walk free after another pardon from President Donald Trump.
Ross Ulbricht founded the site Silk Road, which was responsible for more than $200 million in illicit trade using Bitcoin.
Queen City News Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes here to talk about this decision, what this precedent sets here. Khalif, I got to ask you, on one hand, we're seeing that these cartels are now looked as terrorist organizations because they're taking in fentanyl, but we have somebody who had an underground drug marketplace set free. Make it make sense.
Up is down and down is up. So let's start there. Nothing makes sense with any of these pardons. I mean, because you can't paint on the fact that we have to stop the illicit flow of drugs. Well, this was the break in the beginning of Bitcoin and using these type of currencies to unlock some new type of approach to drug usage. His title when he was arrested, if you look back to 2011, when he was convicted, if you look back to 2015, every outlet called him a drug kingpin. Now this drug kingpin is now some type of folklore hero. I don't believe this prosecution was unjust. It may have been unprecedented. If you listen to what the judge said, the judge says, listen, you were the first to do this. It was unprecedented. And now you chart the track and you sit here as the first defendant having to pay the consequences for that. This is not new. If you do a crime, typically you do go to prison. Even as a criminal defense attorney, I can understand and appreciate that. Yes, I want my defendants to have a fair shot. I want my clients to ensure that none of them are going to prison. But if the case is stacked against you in the manner that it wasn't here, I mean, you're talking about $200+ million that was trafficked through this place. They had attempted hits on other people, never confirmed, never executed, but there was language in there talking about killing people to protect this endeavor. I mean, he's not some fluffy guy that was just on the internet typing. He understood what he was doing, and then he recognized, okay, now I got caught and I tried to step away. Well, at that point, the damage was already done. Well,
so we have two different elements here. We have the drug trade and we have cryptocurrency. Is the mindset more about freeing up cryptocurrency and releasing limitations from that here?
Well, as a person that understands how that works, because I've been looking at cryptocurrency for years before it became something in the mainstream, and I know there's been a constant push specifically in America to not embrace that. The Biden administration doubled down on that and didn't want to embrace it. I think other countries have tried to find ways to figure out how there could be an integration of cryptocurrency and with our traditional form of currency. I think this Trump administration wants to do that, and this is kind of a step in that direction. But I think they took the wrong poster child for that, because he just wasn't trading crypto. He was allowing people to mask their identity, to communicate in places, and to trade illicit drugs. I mean, if we're talking about the war on drugs, starting with Nancy Reagan, going back to 1970s, look at what it's done to our criminal justice system. I looked at some numbers. 240 million people were in prison during that time. It jumped to 1.4 million between the 75 and 2020. I mean, those numbers don't go up on accident. You can directly look at the war on drugs to this. That is problematic. So now we're making it okay for folks to deal and push drugs just because his hands weren't touching it, just because he wasn't unpacking and delivering them, doesn't mean he wasn't playing an integral part, because I guess it's the but-for standard, but for this website, there would have been no drug trade.
Yeah, and his hands were getting money, $18 million in terms of proceeds from Bitcoin. You mentioned what this sets. What precedent does it set going forward?
I mean, the last couple of these type of pardons, they have set a bad precedent that crime is okay. I always mention that we have two parts with our criminal justice system. It's the rehabilitative part. You go to prison, you come back out rehabilitated, integrated into society. Yeah. But it's also the deterrent factor. I want to deter other people from doing this. Well, if I pardon you from January 6th, am I deterring someone from doing that again? If I pardon you from creating an illicit drug trafficking scheme, a kingpin, have I now deterred someone from doing it? I think the answer is no. That's pretty clear. And I am conflicted as a criminal defense attorney, but I am a person that lives in this community, that lives in this society, and doesn't want to have this happening. So I'm in favor of deterrent.
Well, and all these pardons, of course, sparking a lot of discussion, and we're going to continue to do that. Of course, Khalif, thank you.